Hey guys, welcome to Denny's. Today we're going to go over how to obtain around 2 weapon core binders every hour, around 200,000 quantum crystals an hour as well as many other materials. More specifically, we'll be going into a Gley build the community found with the last Dagger. It's absolutely overpowered. Pretty much the most burst damage we've seen so far in the game, but don't forget to like the video if it helped you out. Comment any feedback you got from me down below. Subscribe if you feel that I have earned it, and we'll jump right into the build for Gley and the last Dagger. And don't forget to follow me over on Twitch as well. We recorded the audio for this live over on Twitch. I would love to see you guys over there. We're live 5 days a week, and we are doing all this on stream. So yeah, love to see you guys over there. But let's jump into the video. First things first, we're going to talk about the Gley build itself, the reactor and the components. So starting off with the modules, what we're going to be using. This is more of a gun build. A lot of people are probably used to the Gley gun build, so we're not going to spend too long on the modules. I'll throw them up on screen so you guys can see them. But Predator Instinct is what we're using for the Transcendent module. We're using all the cooldown we can get. Classic for the Gley uptime on her third ability, and then all the duration we can get. Again, classic for the third ability on Gley. You can run Battle of Stamina if you want instead of Stim Accelerant. It really doesn't matter because if you get hit, you're pretty much going to die regardless, because you're basically a glass cannon in this build, but it is probably the most damage we've seen in a glass cannon. Walk a tightrope and shot focus. Obviously, we want more firearm attack, so that is going to be the setup for the gun build. And then I use midair maneuvering, but some people like to use other grappling maneuvers, but I don't really think it's a huge deal. You can use whatever you want to get to the boss faster. We'll talk about like kind of gameplay and what you do to get the kills, but that's the build. We'll jump into the reactor. So for the reactor on Gley, it literally does not matter what you're using whatsoever because this is a firearm attack build. We just want to make sure we have the most amount of duration and the most amount of cooldown we can get on a reactor. I don't have a double gold roll, but this one will be just fine. If you don't have a double gold roll, you're completely fine as long as you have that 100% uptime on your third ability on Gley. I'm just using a reactor that uses electric because, yeah, it has the most cooldown and duration. And then to go into the components, the components are actually quite important, and this kind of adds to the kill time a little bit. It won't give you like, a huge amount. We're min-maxing for sure, but this is definitely going to be pretty important to get down if you want to get past like the 5-second kills or the 6-second kills consistently. This is going to be the Annihilation set. It's pretty straightforward. Literally doesn't matter what we're using on any of the rolls, like at all, pretty much, because again, this is a glass cannon build. The only reason we're using this component set is solely because of the up to 26% firearm attack that you get whenever you're low HP. Obviously, I forgot to mention in the mods, we are using conditional recharge, but you don't need to use conditional recharge. You just want to make sure you get your health as low as you can on Gley before you start the encounter. That is what's going to get us the 26% firearm attack. If you don't want to do that, you can absolutely run the Volcanic set. Again, doesn't matter about the rolls. The Volcanic set gives you a 10% increase to your attack on your handguns, so that'll just be a flat 10% at all times compared to the 26% that you would get for being low health. But I think that the Annihilation is kind of a no-brainer because obviously you can get to that low health really easily on Gley, especially if you're using conditional recharge. So that is the Gley build. We're going to jump into the last Dagger build next up. All right, so for the last Dagger, we're going to start it off with the cores and the substats. So the cores and the substats are going to be very important on this gun. This is going to be specifically for Defiler guys. So for the first core, it's a free slot. We want to run Electric Attack. The reason that we're running Electric Attack, Defiler is weak to electric. So electric is absolutely a necessity. This is the most electric boost we can get in the game. No mod gives us 180%. Nothing gives us this much. So this is pretty imperative for the kill times, to be honest with you. And then the next one we're going with firearm attack, fire rate, kind of a staple that we've been used to seeing with the core system. If you're able to get fire rate on a gun that has very high crit, you're going to see some pretty busted numbers, and this is definitely no exception. This is obviously a new build based on the weak point changes that happened in the last update. They basically made it so that elemental damage scales with weak point damage now, something like that. I'm not the math guy. In fact, shout out to Vash because this build is highly... This is basically his build. This is at least where I know of it from. So shout out to the guy who did the math 100%. And Sen as well. Sen was the one that I ended up watching the video on. I'll post both of their channels down below in the comments so you guys can check them out. But that's where I actually found this build at for the last Dagger. And then the substats. So the substats are going to be firearm attack, firearm critical hit rate, weak point damage, and critical hit damage. Now, you'd think that you would run electric. However, again, with the math, They did the math, and electric is not worth running. It's actually better to run weak point damage, and you would think that maybe Colossus would be better. Well, nope, it's actually not. Firearm critical hit rate is pretty imperative because we need to be getting as many critical hits as we can on this gun. You do not get 100% crit rate. You only get a flat 60% whenever you stack it up, its unique ability up to 30, so that's just making sure you get a hit 30 times, and then you will have the 60% flat crit hit rate. So adding 13% definitely helps out with that, as well as any other crit hit rate you can get. Now, I will say, we'll jump into the mods here really quickly. So the mods, there is no critical hit rate. There is no better insight. The reason for that is it's kind of overkill. We want to try to get as much weak point damage and elemental damage as we can. In fact, you'll notice that we're not even running rifling reinforcement. I thought it was a little weird myself. However, this thing absolutely shreds because of the way that the electric damage now scales with weak point. So running that firearm attack, obviously we get the 2 cores that give us that 160% firearm attack, so it's not a huge deal. However, like I said, the electric damage is crazy. So we're running weak point sight, have aiming for our weak point damage. Ultra precision strike as well will give us weak point damage. So this is a buff that we'll get at the start of our kind of like our burst. It's a very good ultimate mod for weak point damage. We're running electric enhancement, electric priority. That is literally just the enhancement on the elemental side to give us the weak point damage, the increased weak point damage as well. And then better concentration, concentration priority. This gun slaps with critical hit damage, and it obviously any gun that has as high of a crit rate as this gun, building critical hit damage on it is imperative. And then action and reaction is our firearm attack because recoil does not matter. This thing is an absolute laser beam. It's kind of crazy to me how much of a laser beam it is with how much fire rate it has compared to something like the Perforator or any other gun. I know it's not a hand cannon, but yeah, absolutely insane. The sheet DPS does not matter at all here. This thing does like 2.4 million a shot if you absolutely max it out, or even 2.5 I think I've seen or higher on the Defiler's knee whenever you're using this setup. Also wanted to mention that some people do use fire rate concentration instead of fire rate up here. I didn't try it at all, but some people were telling me that it might end up being better, so I wanted to throw that out there for anybody who wanted to try it. It seems like it would get faster kills if not the same, so I wanted to throw that out there. And that is the last Dagger build. I want to quickly go over the inversion really quickly, just because it's actually kind of important as well, so we'll jump over to the inversion really quick. All right, so for the inversion, really only one of the inversion tree spec points here matters, and that is going to be the attribute, the enhanced rounds, the electric focus rounds. You're basically going to have 30%, or excuse me, about 25% additional electric boost, which again was recently buffed, and the reason why this is so good, we're just stacking our electric damage very, 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 very high, and this is what's netting us the crazy, crazy damages. Anything else you can use, I use the void resistance as well as selective cellular stimulation. I don't think you really need either of them. It literally does not matter. You could run just electric focus rounds and you would be fine. But yeah, do whatever you want to do as long as you have the electric focus rounds, and that's all I'm going to say as far as the inversion reinforcement. And it makes it quite easy to get the additional stacks, obviously, because all you have to do is shoot the boss, and it's as simple as. So we're going to jump into some tips that I have to get the kills consistently. I'm sure you guys have seen the background footage over and over of me killing it live on stream. It's pretty straightforward and pretty easy. You just have to get a couple timings down. I was able to start doing it within like 30 minutes of going for it. Honestly, within like 10 minutes of even going for it, I was able to consistently make it so I could get, the 6-second kills over and over and over again. So we'll jump into that really quickly and help you guys out. And the kills. So for the kill, whenever I go in, whenever I start the encounter off, you're going to notice that I am pressing my first ability 3 times. So I'm pressing it once to get into the frenzy state, once to get out, and then once to get back into the frenzy state. The reason for this is because, again, I have conditional recharge. What I'm doing is dropping my HP so that Walk a Tightrope is proccing, but also our Annihilation set is proccing. This is how we get our firearm attack. Obviously, you get 30% with Walk a Tightrope, and then you also get up to 26% with the Annihilation. Now, whenever you do that, you just jump out. I use mid-air grapple, so I make sure to get as far as I can out. After I get above the first set of staircases, you'll see me usually start my third ability right there. Now, by doing that, you're basically just holding down your fire button to make sure you stack up mental focus. You should have right around like 100 stacks at least before the next third ability cooldown comes off cooldown, but you want to make sure to use your second third ability, your second bit of unlimited ammo, like right as Defiler is about to spawn and drop down from his little thing. I kind of mess it up a lot. I never get it. But the reason that we do that is so we can start firing about 2 to 3 seconds before he is available, because we need to stack our Predator Instinct. So Predator Instinct is the Transcendent mod we're using, and basically what you want to do is just make sure that you have enough time between your second use of your third ability and shooting his knees so that you have that buff to the firearm attack, because if you don't do that and you're using Predator Instinct, you actually lose a little bit of firearm attack from having no stacks of Predator Instinct stacked. But while you're shooting, obviously you gain the 2 stacks of that, and you're able to get a lot more damage off. So yeah, just make sure that you are kind of finding your consistency in the timings of your third ability, and just making sure that you're able to upkeep mental focus just by holding your fire button the whole time you're hitting your third ability. It's as simple as that. It might take a little bit of practice, but it's very easy to get down, and if you're not already used to it on Gley, obviously, then you should have no trouble getting used to it because of how easy it is. And yeah, once you've done that, you're probably going to be able to kill the boss in around 6 seconds. And if you have maxed rolls on all the rolls that I recommended, you're probably going to get it down even to 5 and sometimes even 4 seconds if you get good crit RNG and you're able to be really consistent with it. And like I said, you've got completely maxed rolls. But that is the kind of breakdown for the mechanics and how to do it. And yeah, has pretty much been the video. I appreciate you guys for staying as long as you did. Don't forget to like the video if it helped you out. Enjoy the farm, because this is very quick and very efficient for a lot of stuff that we need for the coming weeks until Season 2, Episode 2 releases. So I will be doing pretty much this, and I did this all day on stream today. Don't forget to follow me over there. We were just chatting, hanging out while I was basically killing Defiler all day. You can get right around 2,000 metal in around 30 to 35 minutes, which is a core binder, 1 core binder. And that means you can get right around 2 core binders an hour on average. Obviously, there is a little bit of RNG between how much you can get, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys over on Twitch. Subscribe again if you feel that I've earned it. I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, I'm out of here. Peace out. Goodbye.